Championship game here on CBS. And of course after that the Super Bowl. Allegre's kick bounces over the head of Cribbs and he goes back to down it, and the 49ers will stop and start from their own 20-yard line. Rushing yards in the first half. The Giants led by Joe Morris 144 to 18. The 49ers 3 turnovers. Turnover points 21 to nothing. And over we say the same thing. That'll do it to you.
Well, you know, if you could go in a game and you say I want to be able to run the ball well and not have any turnovers, that's a pretty good game plan.
You'd be in the Super Bowl just about every year. Jeff Kemp at quarterback for San Francisco. Montana has not come out of the 49er locker room as yet. Roger Craig, left side. Out of bounds after a pickup of about 6 by Harry Carson.
You know, I think what the 49ers will want to do here, Pat, and what Bill Walsh is probably telling his team, we haven't scored a touchdown yet. Let's go out and start. Let's start the same way we started the first half. Work on that first score. You know, if you start to look, we're down 28 to 3. What are we going to do? You don't look at 25 points. You look at getting the first score.
2nd and 4. White Clark split out wide to the right, Rice to the left. Jeff Kemp, the quarterback. Russ Francis in motion. Straight ahead to Cribbs. Not enough for a first down. Banks tripped him up. A gain of 2. It'll be 3rd and 2.
You know, I think Carl Banks is probably the best guy. Watch Banks here. I think he's probably the MVP. Watch how he comes in here, gets penetration, takes on the block, and gives the ball carrier nowhere to cut. Watch 58. The ball snaps. See, he gets a penetration, gets in there low on Craig, knocks him back, and doesn't let Cribbs even get to the line of scrimmage.
3rd down, and they need about 3. Giants showing blitz, and here they come again. Pass from Kemp to Rice, complete. Enough for a first down, and penalty markers down.
Look at Dwight Clark trying to tackle Jim Burke.
I think it's going to be against Elvis Patterson against Rice.
I think it is too. He was tight man-to-man coverage, following him all the way in.
Dwight Clark needs an overhaul.
Well, they got to get some stuff back underneath some stuff. Dwight Clark was saying that he had a sore throat yesterday, and the doctor started to scramble.
Pass interference, number 34, defense, automatic first down.
Thinking he had the flu, but all he did, he had a sore throat from singing. There he goes right there. You saw Patterson there. I guess it was that left hand in there. To me, that's pretty good coverage. I think that's good tight coverage.
I would accept that.
Bump him around.
Automatic first down. 28 to 3. Giants lead. They show blitz again, and now they back out. Jeff Kemp outside of Rice. Dodges one Giant. Hops out of bounds. Herb Welch. Should be enough for another San Francisco first down. Montana still in the locker room. The word we got was possible concussion. He might be back, but he still hasn't returned.
Yeah, the 49ers are off to a good start here with Jeff Kemp at quarterback in the second half, but remember the first half they started the same way. Hit Jerry Rice with a big post pattern. He's running free to the end zone. He just fumbles the ball. And it was kind of downhill after that for the Niners.
Rice comes wide to the right this time. Craig and Cribbs behind Kemp. That's Craig in motion. Kemp outside quickly to Craig. Up in a hurry is Carl Banks.
I'll tell you, today in this game, Carl Banks is the best player in the field. I mean, we've seen him blitz. We've seen him come in and stop the run. Now we see him run out and cover Roger Craig and make an open field tackle for no gain. Watch him. Craig is going to come to the outside. He was in motion. Boom, here comes 58 right down the line, makes that tackle, and Craig doesn't take another step forward. He just throws him around like a rag doll.
A loss of 1 to make it 2nd and 11. Kemp looking in the direction of Rice, throws down the middle for no one. Russ Francis might have been the closest 49er But Kemp was under pressure from Lawrence Taylor.
You know, I've been talk all week about how the 49ers are going to take advantage of Herb Welch, who's starting there at the weak safety position. Of course, if you get pressure like that, you're not going to be able to get deep to the weak safety anyway.
You and I could play safety.
Well, no.
Reasons is out, and Pepper Johnson is the Giant linebacker, number 52. Third down, 11. Pepper Johnson standing up in the middle. Craig away from Welch for a moment, but not enough for a first down as Welch takes down Roger Craig after a gain of 7. The 49ers will have to punt.
You could just feel Herb Welch's determination here to make that tackle. That's the thing that the Giant coaches have been talking to that secondary about. They've challenged them on that. You got to be able to do that. And you could just feel Herb Welch thinking that as he was chasing Roger Craig.
Taking the place of the injured Terry Kennard and doing a fine job. Runniger. The punt for the 49ers. McConkey standing at his own 10. McConkey, no fair catch at the 18. About the 24 before he's stopped by Randy Cross. 28-3. The Giants over San Francisco with 12:22 left, third quarter.
Balls through the cracks.
Okay. Ball's at the 25. Sims, Morris. Only a couple. Ronnie Lott, Charles Haley to make the stop.
You know, Charles Haley, we talked about him being from Big James Madison. Remember a couple weeks ago we were in Washington and we had that waiter at the restaurant, and he said every time anyone says James Madison, they always say little. You know, like little James Madison College. He said, we got over 10,000 guys there, 10,000 students.
Said you guys referred to.
Yeah, you guys. I never said little. Big James Madison. I know it's big.
Second and 8. Sims, Lamari's top line. Outside the 30, about the 32, a gain of 5. It'll bring up a third down, and again Charles Haley and Ronnie Lott make the stop.
Of course, Charles Haley's from Big James Madison, and the other guy from Big James Madison is Gary Clark, the Washington Redskins, a wide receiver. That's two pretty good NFL players.
I would say.
Gary Clark is a Pro Bowl type player, and Haley is going to be one. They say he's a lot like Fred Dean, you know, that not going to be the big, strong defensive lineman, but has good leverage and great speed and quickness.
Same kind of function. Here's Sims to Morris, and Morris has a first down. You know, we said this before about him, John, but a lot of backs have to sort of glide before they make the cut. He can make that cut at top speed.
You know, and the thing about that is having strong lower legs. Strong calves and strong ankles can make you make that cut at full speed. And that's what he does. He doesn't have to get turned.
He reads things so well. And gets it turned upfield and turns it up for a first down. Something, Ronnie Lott discussing something with the officials. Obviously had something to do with the clock and when to start it. And the 30-second clock now starts up again. Morris is the deep back. Maurice Carthon in front of him. And it's back to Joe Morris. Morris around the corner, out of bounds. A gain of 6. Giants Stadium, East Rutherford, where the Giants lead the 49ers in the NFC divisional playoff 28-3. 49ers committed 3 turnovers. The Giants turned all 3 of them into touchdowns. Joe Morris has 127 yards rushing. Joe Montana is still in the 49er locker room with a concussion. And Phil Simms, again quietly, has had another good day. Flag.
Michael Carter jumped off sides again. That one was legitimate.
Number 95, defense. First down.
That's why he's so upset. I mean, you know, the nose tackle, they're always taught, you know, watch the ball move. But it can be the inflection of the quarterback's voice. Sometimes the center just puts a little more pressure on the ball with his hand, just squeezes. Any little thing. Those guys are up there so tight, so jumpy, that they'll jump on any little movement.
Paint to paint. First and 10 Giants. That's Manuel in motion. Take to Maurice Cartha. Man wide open downfield. This is Roussan. Keena Turner knocked him out of bounds. Stacy Robinson had broken clean deep. Simms went to Roussan underneath.
You know, I think that Roussan is going to be like the pass receiving halfback of this Giant team. You know, they have Carthon is a running fullback. Tony Galbraith had been the pass receiving fullback. Joe Morris is now the running halfback, and I think Roussan is going to become the pass receiving halfback.
Morris behind Carthon. Barrels down to about the 20 behind Maurice Carthon blocking. Tim McKyer made the stop.
I like that Maurice Carthon. I think, you know, we talked about the things. It's not a glamour thing when you have to lead all the time and get those blocks, but when he comes firing around that corner leading Morris, he looks like he's you know, he's always square, he's always bent, he's always going to make that block that knocks that guy out and clears the lane.
Second and 2. McConkey split wide to the left. 49ers showing blitz. They give to Morris. Morris around the corner again. And a penalty marker down. Flag came flying late that time. Morris picked up 6, got it up for a first down. Let's see about the penalty.
Morris is thinking if the field were 55 yards wide, he has a touchdown. He needed just another yard or so. He was trying to make that cut, and he would have gotten it in the end zone.
Illegal block. Number 89, offense. Still second down.
Well, that's against Mark Bavaro. Let's see what he does there. Has his hand. I don't think it's illegal so far. Looks pretty legal. Got an arm caught in there, a little push. I don't know. That looked legal to me. See, but if Joe Morris had another yard or so, he would have scored. Yard of width.
Second down and 9. The line of scrimmage, the 49er 28. The Giants lead at 28-3. Roussan has replaced Morris. Simms looking in his direction. McConkey, touchdown. To McConkey from 28 yards away. Allegre for the extra point. Rutledge holding to make it 35-3 with 8:56 left in the third quarter.
The pressure that Phil Simms had, Pat, on that last pass. Ricky Ellison, watch him, number 50, he's going to come straight up the middle there. Simms, I don't think, again, he may have seen McConkey, but he didn't see him when he threw that ball. That's the second touchdown pass he's thrown to that right side when he's had a guy hanging on him just as he threw the ball. Wonder how he got the velocity on it to get it up over the corner and into McConkey's arms.
Boy, you're so right. What a heck of a throw.
extra day now. You know, they did it. What they did to the Bears yesterday was 6 days rest. Now they get that extra day. They'll really be fired up next week. In fact, the Redskins were saying that they're the kind of team that doesn't do well with a lot of time off. They like to just keep it going each week.
Looks like they'll have their chance. Cribbs and Craig. Craig in front of Cribbs. To the 25. Hit down by Andy Hedden. Pepper Johnson also there on the tackle, along with Robbie Jones.
There's the obligatory victory bucket. There's 2 of them. I mean, it's like, we just call them like obligatory victory bucket, and then the other one's junior, junior. See, now no one looks at, I mean, no one cares now. I mean, they just ignore them the whole game. At the end of the game, boom, they're going to be right there.
They're going to pour them on Parcells.
Yep, they even have a backup. Just like you always have to have a starter and a backup. The old bucket has a backup.
Here's Jeff Kemp. Nothing doing. He's hit by Leonard Marshall just as he lets it go. And he had to let it go.
Kemp doesn't have anything to throw to. He's looking right all the way, and Marshall hits him. He just had to get rid of that ball.
Taylor on the outside, cut down. Marshall on the inside, not cut down. Jeff Kemp just had to fire. 2nd and 10.
That was the game plan for the 49ers. Get that rush up the middle.
Intercepted by Mark Collins. Intended for Clark. Joe Montana hit by Jim Burt in the closing seconds of the first half. Suffering from a concussion. Still in the locker room. Giant defense has been rough on quarterbacks this year.
Well, you know, 2 of those, they put Tommy Kramer out earlier. Then on successive Sundays, remember, we did the game, Danny White, that was a hand, and he was out for the season. Jaworski the next week was a hand, and he was out for the season.
And now Montana. Crowd chanting defense, and they are really fired up, the crowd and the defense. Incomplete to Rice. Behind him by just a bit. And the 49ers again will have to punt. For the defense. The ovation.
It's a standing ovation, Pat. I'll tell you, these Giant fans have waited a long time for a championship game here. And they've also learned to enjoy and appreciate this defense.
Deservedly so. Kick to McConkey at the 35. Away from one man. Hit hard and knocked backwards by Bill Ring. Number 30, 40-yard punt by Runniger. 8:24 left third quarter. The Giants 35, the 49ers 3. That summer off, John Madden. We're at Giant Stadium, and that is a correct score. 8:24 left third quarter. The Giants lead the 49ers 35-3. They have the ball at their own 47-yard line. Bill Sims with Maurice Carthon and Joe Morris behind him. Morris skips and cut down, maybe back to the line of scrimmage, a loss of perhaps a yard.
You know, Pat, once we were talking about Joe Morris earlier in the season, I was talking about physics. But Joe Morris is not a little guy. I mean, Joe Morris is a big guy. He's just short. But I mean, he has big, powerful arms, shoulders, legs, and the whole thing. And, you know, physics, I thought if you take your power, you weigh around 200 pounds, and you keep it short, that would be stronger than someone who was the same weight, taller. So anyway, I got a lot of letters on that.
Well, it makes a lot of sense. Sims down by Haley. First sack on Sims all day.
Well, what it is, it's mass times the velocity equals power.
Is that a record?
Well, Morris has a record for it. I mean, the mass and the velocity under, you know, that like 5'6". So he has his 190-some pounds. You see that package there in about 5'6". So that power is shortened down. So you get more power spread over less area. And then that's called the mass. Then when he runs, that's called the velocity that equals the power.
3rd and 20, Sims firing deep. McConkey intended. Along with Bobby Johnson, nothing there. Good coverage by the 49ers. 35-3, and the Giants send on Landeta. McKyer and Nixon were back with the 2 deep men. Here is Sean Landeta.
He's had a great year this year. In fact, it's a Pro Bowl year, and as a reward, he gets a new helmet next year. One that fits, not that tight, short one.
Not related to physics.
Well, there's something in physics, too. The size of the head squeezed into the helmet.
49ers put the rush on Landeta. They didn't touch him. He got it away, and the Giants will down it at about the 25. 6 minutes and 56 seconds now left to play in the 3rd quarter, with the Giants dominating the 49ers. They lead 35-3. Championship game next week. Not a very happy 49er bench at the moment. They've been dominated this afternoon by the Giants. Jeff Kemp now quarterback still, and back to throw. Outside of Francis. And out of bounds. Carl Banks, the leader there first, a gain of only 4.
We don't have a most valuable player, I don't think, do we? Where you say at the end of the day, this is so-and-so's most valuable player. But if we did, I think this guy has to be the most valuable player, Carl Banks. I mean, he has been all over the field. I mean, he's been back and open field tackles and rushing and blitzing and stopping the run. He's been on this left side. He's a one-man gang over here.
And it's been a tremendous year for him as well. The other guy has more recognition, perhaps, but he's really played well.
I think he's going to be the next All-Pro on this team.
Nothing there for Joe Cribbs. The first man to tackle him was Harry Carson.
But, you know, just like that play again, I don't mean to talk about Carl Banks every play, but Banks comes across and he takes out the interference. Watch him come across here and take out the guards pulling. He takes him down, knocks him down, causes a pile. Now there's no place for Cribbs to go.
Need 7 for a first. Got to throw again. Cribbs on the move. Kemp quickly. Clark drops. Had it, juggled it, lost it. Mark Collins on the coverage. And again, the ovation for the Giant defense. 5:21 left, 3rd quarter. Runeger on again to punt. McConkey back at his own 34. To his 44. To just about midfield. 30-yard punt only by Runeger. 5-yard return. Mike Walter made the stop. 5:12 left, 3rd quarter. 5:12 left, 3rd quarter. The Giants 35, San Francisco 49ers 3. Giant Stadium in the Meadowlands across the Hudson from Manhattan. Giants with the ball, 1st and 10 at their own 49. Morris and Maurice Carthon, the running backs. It's Joe Morris. And Joe Morris blasts for a first down left side. Arlen Williamson tripped him up. Morris stays down. Latest word on Joe Montana. As you recall, if you were with us earlier, he was hit by Jim Burt in the closing seconds of the first half. Suffered a concussion. Was very woozy. Steadily improving, we hear from the 49er locker room, but Joe Montana will not be back. He's hit by Jim Burt. So Morris got up slowly after that last carry, but seems okay now. Roussan has replaced him. Roussan with the ball inside the 49er 35, stopped by Dwayne Board. A gain of 4.
Let's watch Dwayne Board down there. This is what it looks like when you're in there. You're man-to-man against the tackle. You're watching his move first, so you move, push him down. So he just knocked Benson down, and then just came in and made the tackle on Roussan. Dwayne Board is one of the solid players in this league. One of the guys who plays the run very, very well and is a pretty good pass rusher.
2nd and 5, as again you look at Dwayne Board. Hand off Roussan, steps out of one tackler. Got away from one more before Jim Farnhorst brings him down with help from Carlton Williamson. A gain of only 1. Total offense today, the Giants 316 yards, 35 points. The 49ers 142 yards and 3 points.
And I still think it's a story of the defense. I mean, I think Phil Simms had a big day. Joe Morris had a big day. But the defense set up and gave them a lot of those situations.
3rd and 4. Back in the game. Flags are down. Morris cuts back. He's got a first down. Ronnie Lott on the bottom of the pile. A gain of 4. But a flag down on the play.
Did you hear what happened then as Simms was given his starting count, his cadence? I think that's what's bringing the 49ers offside. I mean, he was giving them that. You can go, hut, 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 hut. And boom, they all started to jump. So it was on his cadence more than any movement.
Just over 3 minutes left to play 3rd quarter. Redskins and the Giants, it would appear, next week right here. As John Madden said earlier, that would be the 3rd time they've met this year. And they play, of course, twice during the regular season every year.
Offside, number 72, defense, first down.
First down, Giants. Stover jump. And that familiarity, I think, when you play a team that many times, I don't know what it does to the game. It's difficult, I know, to dominate in a series like that, particularly when they're close like the Giants and the Redskins.
Well, it tends to make you more conservative. You know, you don't add more because you remember things that didn't work and you know why they won't work, so you don't put them in.
Maurice Carthon over the left side, stopped by Board again.
I've always felt it's easier to be wide open against someone you don't play or you don't know. When you know someone as well as the Giants and the Redskins, it tends to be a more conservative game on one hand. And then on the other hand, I can tell you what it's going to be. It's going to be a very, very physical game.
What effect do you think the fact that the Redskins played, you talked about this earlier, played yesterday, have an extra day to rest?
I don't know. Those guys are amazing. I mean, those guys being able, they went into the Rams game beat up. They came out beat up, and being able to play like they did yesterday is just something to me.
Morris is in motion. Zeke Mowatt, touchdown. From 29 yards out this time, Simms to Mowatt. Perfect.
Parcells said that Zeke Mowatt back this year, he never felt he was really all right until this week. He said you may see some big plays from Zeke Mowatt because until now I never felt he was really back. All year he's been there and he's been coming back. He said, but now this week, this game, I think he's back. Simms just throws it out. Mowatt's able to stretch out and get the ball for the touchdown.
That particular pass pattern has been very, very kind to the Giants throughout this year, where they split those seams in a zone. Allegre hits the extra point, and it's 42-3. With a minute 58 left, third quarter.
Let's see if we can see the seams in the zone, Pat. Here's Mowatt here. He's just going to come straight down here. Now let's watch the zone, and let's watch the play develop. See, the motion starts out here. That spreads it. Now, when you stop it here, we can see that here's the zoner, here's the zoner, here's the zoner. Between these guys are the seams. So that's we're trying to get Mowatt in this seam. And you see they do get him in the seam. The corner comes over too far, he hits the outside guy. Corner stays out, then he can hit his tight end.
That was that two tight end setup again, as Bavaro was in the right-hand seam, Mowatt in the left. 5 plays, 51 yards. Sims hits again.
That's the old splitting the seam of the zone defense trick.
Allegre's kick. Returned by Joe Cribb. Cut down from behind by Byron Hunt and Lee Roussan. Giant playoff record for Phil Simms. The 4 touchdowns. 9 out of 19. Not all that good, but the 4 TDs. Simms on the phone. McConkey asking the crowd, hey, this guy deserves more than you've given him.
That's the kind of guy Phil McConkey is. I mean, he's the kind of guy who realizes it, knows it, and wants everyone else to know it.
Cribbs by Banks again. A loss of 6.
I'll tell you, they're going to go back. The 49ers are. They're going to go back and they're going to say, hey, this guy right here, we never could get him, so we never could get around there. Every time we'd start out there, he'd run up, he'd do this, and we'd lose 5 yards. How are you supposed to run the ball on that guy they call Banks?
That guy who plays like Lawrence Taylor, but's got a different number. Cribbs has carried 8 times and gained no yards. Kemp back to throw, hit in the back by Lawrence Taylor and Leonard Marshall, just as he got rid of it.
This is when it's fun if you're a defensive player. When you got them down, when your crowd's doing this, you know they have to pass, and you can come from the backside and you can rush it. It's no fun when you're on the other side. Just watch. Here comes Taylor and Marshall from the backside. Those guys are always a nightmare to a right-handed quarterback.
This is when it's fun to be dressed in blue. 1 minute left, third quarter, 3rd and 16. Kemp. Pass picked off by Pepper Johnson. Johnson inside the 15. Pepper Johnson down to the 5. Kemp finally tripped him up. That's a step I haven't seen before.
I like that one because you got both the right and the left in there. It's not one-handed. You gave both sides of the body equal time. That's the way you should do it. I know there's someone saying now probably, gee, don't use all your points this week. Save some for next week. That's not the way you play football.
Pepper's going to keep that ball.
And he's going to keep the celebration going. The thing about Pepper, he doesn't stop celebrating quickly.
1st and goal, Morris down inside the 5, knocked out of bounds by Ricky Ellison. Pepper Johnson saying, keep that for me. I may have to play some more.
Well, no, he just said hold it for a while I keep celebrating. Look, they're doing some more. Look. thing could go on for hours. I think that's the most celebration I've ever seen. And it was all over this play. Watch 52. Pepper Johnson, that play. Got a block there from Collins right there. That move, that somersault, got all the rest.
Still being congratulated.
Now that's a record. That's a record. That's an NFL record for celebration.
Morris and Carthon. And off Morris. Touchdown Morris. Seconds left in the third quarter, and it's the Giants 48, the 49ers 3. 2 yards out for Joe Morris. Set up by the pass interception by Pepper Johnson. Rutledge will hold again for Allegre. Allegre is 7 for 7. Coach of the year was chosen last week, Bill Parcells.
I think right now Bill Parcells is starting to think about next week. He has this one won, and he's probably going to start making some substitutions. I think I would. I don't think I'd have Phil Simms in there anymore. I don't think I'd play Morris anymore.
John, you and I, it would certainly appear, we'll be right back here next week for the NFC Championship game between the Redskins and the Giants. Lawrence Taylor, he scored a touchdown. The MVP in the NFC.
And remember the big day that he had against the Skins the last time they played at RFK. Joe Jacoby had a heck of a time trying to get him blocked. He caused Jay Schrader a lot of problems rushing from that backside.
Allegre's kickoff is handled by Roger Craig at the 9. By McConkey. And some more special teamers. Robbie Jones, Pepper Johnson again. The home field, this Giants stadium, has been kind to the Giants this year. Look at what the home field advantage has done in the last 6 years.
Well, you know, those were all the NFC teams, and every team since 1981 that had the home field went to the Super Bowl.
They'll have it next week. Here's Joe Cribbs. A loss perhaps of a yard, stopped by Leonard Marshall. That's the end of the third quarter with the score. The Giants 49, the 49ers 3, and we now pause for a word from your local station. Before it really gets underway.
There's Lawrence Taylor. You know, remember when he first came in, he was a rookie in his first, second year. He was always so lively and so vibrant.
Offense, second down.
In practice and everything. And he's saying now that he's getting a little older and he has to kind of pick his spots for his energy. So he doesn't do that anymore in practice. He says he tries to save it for the game. He says he's getting old. He lives wild. He plays wild. And he said when you do that, you age a little quicker than some of the others.
I forgot. Second down and 16. Here's Kemp back to throw. Does throw to Clark. Dwight Clark carries a lot of folks out to midfield. Mark Collins. A gain of 30. Kemp to Clark.
This is one thing the 49ers been doing all day, running that slant pass where the receiver comes up about 6 or 7 yards and then slants to the inside. They had some big plays. The first play that Rice had when he fumbled, it was a slant. And he had another one, and that was a slant that Dwight Clark just caught.
You wonder how the complexion of this game would have changed if Rice hadn't fumbled that early.
I don't think it would have been any different. Today is the Giants' day, and I think their defense had anything the 49ers were going to do.
Kemp down by Eric Dorsey and Pepper Johnson again.
You know, we're now seeing some of these young defensive giants. That's Dorsey there who gets the sack. Eric Howard, another rookie, is playing nose tackle. We see Dorsey up there on top coming in there. And this is the thing that the Giants can do now. They can get some of their players out and get some of these young players in playoff games. This is Bubba Paris against Leonard Marshall, and he got him on the pin. He got the takedown, and then he got the pin. Like that was like off the top rope.
2nd and 17. Taylor after Kemp. Francis with the completion, and nothing doing. Herb Welch there first with an assist from Kenny Hill.
Tell you, this is no fun for Jeff Kemp to come in a game when you're down 49-3. And the guys are good pass rushers anyway, like Lawrence Taylor and Leonard Marshall, and these guys, Carl Banks, playing the game of his life. And you have to go in and try and do this.
There was a lot of speculation last week about who would replace Ray Perkins as the head coach at the University of Alabama after he went to Tampa Bay. Well, that question has been answered. It's Bill Curry, who was at Georgia Tech.
He's the old Green Bay Packers center, wasn't it?
Correct. Kent, incomplete. Intended for Rice. It all began back in July in training camp, in some cases before that. Yesterday's finals, in overtime, the Browns beat the Jets. The Redskins beat the Bears. Today, the Giants are beating up on the 49ers 49-3. Still to come, Denver and New England. Runninger back to punt. Good kick. McConkey at his own 13. Dodges a couple, gets out to the 20. And let's see who the Giant quarterback might be. I think it'll be Rutledge. 12:29 left to play. 49-3, the Giants lead it.
Zone defense, but I'll tell you, if he watched it today, that zone defense did pretty well, along with the pressure of the front group.
Rutledge is the quarterback. It's Roussan and O.J. Anderson, the running backs. Roussan, the ball carrier. Taylor, Burt, and Banks.
Well, you see, when you take your shirt out like that, that means you're not going to play anymore. When you go like that and you don't have your helmet anywhere and your shirt tail is out like that, that's in the rules. It says when you do that, you can't play anymore. So I'm sure that that's the end of Lawrence Taylor's day.
At least at the stadium.
Well, they're starting the celebrations now.
Brian Johnson. Rutledge, the quarterback. Roberts, one of the running backs. That's O.J. Anderson, the former Cardinal. No gain.
You know, the Giants picked up Otis Anderson this year just as insurance for Joe Morris. And Joe Morris has had a great year. And Otis Anderson, Bill Parcells says, has really been a valuable part of this team. You know, he does the scout team stuff, hustles all the time, gives everyone a look, understands his position. If Joe Morris is healthy, we don't need you. If Joe goes down, you're a very important part of this team.
Third down, 8.5 or 9. Giants at their own 22. Rutledge gives again to Roussan. Roussan got only a couple. Larry Roberts made the stop for the 49ers. And here comes Harry Carson, seeking out the Gatorade.
No, that's a tease. He said it's coming. You don't do it there. McConkey's looking to see what's in there. You know, that bucket, though, is just like a kicker or something. You know, no one pays any attention all day. It just kind of sits there. Then at the end, when you need it for your celebration, it becomes big.
Well, you know that Bill Parcells has got it somewhere stuck in the back of his mind that they're going to pour that thing on him today.
Yeah, and he would like to get 2 more pours
next week.
And then he'd like to take the bucket and fly it to Pasadena and get another dumpski there.
Landetta, Bart Oates is the center. Landetta to punt. Griffin retreats, signals fair catch. Greg Lasker was right in his face. 43-yard punt, no return. The 49ers take over. The Giants lead 49-3. Vanderbilt. Robbie Jones knocked Cribbs out of bounds, so he knows about sweat.
Well, yeah, I mean, some of the times you just get the feeling that the guys, if they're sweating, they're really working. You know, and if they don't sweat, then you wonder what they're doing. But he was always in there, kind of in the middle of the thing. Right there. You see how he is? You kind of fix the hat there. See, he has a little sweat going. You pull some stuff off the nose there and kind of hang in there. But that's where all the action happens. See, it all comes right there at you. See, look, they have to key like a middle linebacker.
3rd and 3. Rathman got enough for the first down.
I think someday what the 49ers planned to do today was use Tom Rathman and Roger Craig. 2 fullbacks in there, and Craig being more the running back and let Rathman be in his blocker. Rathman is one of the good blockers. He's only a rookie, but he blocks very well.
Both from Nebraska.
And that kind of goes automatically. If you're from Nebraska and you're a back, you block.
First down, 49ers. Kemp again to Cribbs. Maybe 3 yards. Stopped by Eric Dorsey, number 77. Leonard Marshall. Later today, again, a reminder that Bobby Knight's Indiana team takes on Ohio State and St. John's against Villanova. Nice greeting for us and for CBS. We'll be at the Super Bowl. 2nd and 7. We'll also be here next week when the Redskins come to town for the NFC Championship. Here's Kemp. Clark juggles, handles, out of bounds by Mark Collins.
Even Dwight Clark at the end of this game, down 49-3, still catching passes, still gets upset with himself when he bobbles the ball. I mean, he is really a perfectionist, you know, and he believes that you put your hands out there, boom, you just catch the ball out of the air. And even there's no way the 49ers are going to win this game. You can just see how a perfectionist feels when everything doesn't go perfectly. And, of course, today, whoa.
Far from perfect. Clark and Rice both left side now. 8:19 left to play. Kemp. Pass picked off by Mark Collins. And they say it was out of bounds.
Mark Collins read that one well. Watch, you have the deep guy, Clark, or Clark's a short guy. Rice is a deep guy. Collins just comes in and splits them. 1 out, 2 out. So he had both feet out of bounds. Sometimes they get 1 in and 1 out. Sometimes they get both in. Sometimes they get both out. Sometimes they get a knee in and both feet out. Sometimes they get 2 knees in and 2 feet out.
8:14 left to play. Next week, and now this is the latest word, the NFL Today begins it at 3:30 Eastern Time, and then after that, the Giants and the Redskins right here. Here's Tripp. No place to go. Eric Howard, number 74, was the first Giant there. A loss of 5 by Cribbs.
I think Joe Cribbs played halfback all day today, and I don't think he gained a yard. I would bet when you add it up that he may have like 10 carries or 12 carries and no yards.
Never got around the corner. 12 carries for 4 yards for Joe Cribbs. 25 yards for the 49ers. 200 for the Giants.
I'll tell you, when you look at every situation, every part of football, the Giants completely dominated the 49ers today.
No doubt about it. Kemp intended for Rathman. Bounced off his hands. Today they are number 1.
There's part of that offensive line. The 2 guards, Billy Ard, Chris Godfrey. They've really done an outstanding job all year. You know, I mean, for Joe Morris's running, not only for his running, but for Phil Simms' pass protection, that unit has been healthy all year, and they've played great all year.
And they've been together now for enough years so that everybody is familiar with everybody. And for offensive linemen, that's certainly very important. Roniger's kick goes out of bounds at the 3-yard line. That's where the Giants will start to operate. 7:12 left to play, and it's 49-3.
Down play. They had some tough games. They had to come back. They won. They had injuries. They still won. There is nothing that the Giants haven't overcome this year.
Rutledge, the quarterback. Rousson and Anderson behind him. Nothing doing. Anderson, the ball carrier, hit immediately by Dwayne Board. And again, disappointment for Bill Walsh.
You know, after the last loss, when they lost out there, Bill Walsh said it was the most devastating loss that he ever had in his career. When the Giants beat them, when they were ahead 17-0, Giants come back and beat them 21-17. And I would have to think that this one would rank up there higher. But maybe if you get beat this soundly, maybe it doesn't hurt as much as the tight ones. I don't know.
Oh, I think it does.
I do too. I think it hurts more. This is embarrassing.
Handoff from Rutledge to Anderson again. Back to the line of scrimmage. Nothing doing there. Michael Carter on the bottom of the pile. A loss of 1, perhaps. Lawrence Taylor, the year he's had.
Now, he looks like he was thinking about it, about thinking what he's going to do. You know, should he get up and celebrate yet, or talk, or what are we going to do next week, or who would have thought?
Next week, the Redskins will be here. Clock running 5:45. I'm sure that Joe Jacoby probably watching and remembering the last meeting.
And Joe Jacoby has to play with a cast on his hand this time.
Well, he certainly did extremely well yesterday with a cast and all, as all the Redskins did. Rutledge, Rousson by Ronnie Lott.
Well, the running stats of the Giants are sure going down now.
The averages.
Yeah, they're trying to run out this clock and get the game over, and the 49ers, with all their passing, really aren't cooperating.
Harry Carson lurking around by the Gatorade bucket.
He looks mischievous, doesn't he? He looks like, you know, he has that look that he's going to do something.
Well, he is.
Well, we all know that, but I mean even more than that look.
Sort of a look of a guy who thinks he's going to the Super Bowl. Waiting as long as he can is Sean Landetta. 30-second clock is down to 14 now. Now less. And they'll wait as long as they can to snap it. Don Griffin standing back for the 49ers. Nobody got offside. Landetta out of the end zone. Good high kick again. Griffin at the 47. Greg Lasker again right in his face. Don't forget, the NFL Today follows us. The post-game show of Brent Musburger, Dick Vermeil. Today's highlights, a live interview with the Redskin coach, Joe Gibbs. Field reports from Irv Cross and Will McDonough. Gibbs, by the way, will be at Redskin Park. He spends an awful lot of time there, and it certainly has paid off. Basketball later today after that. Kemp out of the shotgun.
I think the 49ers had illegal motion.
I think so.
They can't even get the ball snapped anymore.
Ball start. Number 69. Offense. First down.
Bruce Colley. Pretty good package of cameras there, huh, John?
Well, that's an NFL record for a small amount. I mean, not for total cameramen, but in a confined area. There's more than there ever has been at a game in New Jersey.
Here's Kemp again under pressure, firing Clark incomplete over his head. Tom Flynn back on the coverage. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League. Is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the New York Giants and the National Football League is prohibited.
We think about next week, and the championship game is going to be here. Bill Parcells has done such an outstanding job with this team, but sometimes I think of the owner, like Wellington Mara. When things were going bad, he took a lot of criticism. And now when things are going well, I think those people are critical. I think you have to praise the guy.
Well, I think you have to praise Wellington and his nephew, Tim.
Well, the same thing. I mean, I know that, when they were bad and when things were going wrong, it was easy to jump on them, and everyone did, and they worked out their problems and worked through them, and through George Young and with Bill Parcells and with these players, they built a championship team and organization.
And they lead 49-3. 3rd and 10. Hand off to Rathman. Trying to get around the corner. Nothing there. Eric Howard, the strongest man on the Giant team, there to make the stop. I don't think Carson is coming back in the game, do you?
No, he's in a contest right now, and it's a different hat contest. And I mean, he had his football hat on, then he had some kind of stocking cap on, and now he has the other one. He's trying to get this one right here. If he could get this, guys, then he could win the contest.
Zeke Mowatt, who scored a touchdown today. As Bill Parcells said, he's back to where he used to be. Benson, that nose is never going to get well until football is over.
And then it'll never get, I mean, it'll just heal up, and there's always going to be a big old scar there.
I mean, here he's got a disguise on now, does Carson.
For the obligatory victory bucket.
Has Parcells seen him yet? How can a guy like that expect to hide?
Parcells is looking for him. He doesn't know who he is. Who is that guy? There's a guy behind the bucket.
That's 49-3. He's got the bucket. They got him occupied. Joy on the other side of the field. He's going to get him again.
I think we're doing a double bucket today. See what Eric can see? There's a trick. We're seeing a trick. He empties half of it before he dumps it.
Going to get him again? Where'd they get that time? Jackson. No, Belichick.
That's a defensive
coordinator.
They said you did a heck of a job with our defense today. This is what you get for it.
2 minutes remain. Rutledge hands off to Rousseau. Stopped by Michael Carter. 1 minute 50 seconds left to play. The Giants 49, the 49ers 3. The Redskins will be here next week. They met twice during the regular season. The Giants won them both. Here it was 27-20. At RFK Stadium in Washington, it was 24-14. Third down and 3. Not much happiness on the 49er sideline. A lot of happiness on the other side of the field and in the stands. Billy Ard, who had such a good year. They all did. Their 15th victory of the year today. Russo. Tonight on CBS starts with 60 Minutes. Did a stockbroker take advantage of an elderly widow? A primer on how not to play the market. Then it's Murder, She Wrote, starring Angela Lansbury. After that, it's By Mother's Request, part 1 of a CBS miniseries starring Stephanie Powers and E.G. Marshall. They'll run it down. The Giants 49. The 49ers 3. Coming up on the NFL Today, the postgame show, Brent and Dick Vermeil will have highlights of the game, and we'll talk live, hopefully, with Redskin coach Joe Gibbs from Washington. Plus player interviews, and the group looks ahead at the NFC Championship game. All of that coming up after the game on the NFL Today. Today's game, John, well,
through the cracks.
Okay. Ball's at the 25. Sims, Morris. Only a couple. Ronnie Lott, Charles Haley to make the stop.
You know, Charles Haley, we talked about him being from Big James Madison. Remember a couple weeks ago we were in Washington and we had that waiter at the restaurant, and he said every time anyone says James Madison, they always say Little. You know, like Little James Madison College. He said, we got over 10,000 guys there, 10,000 students.
Said you guys referred to it.
Yeah, you guys. I never said Little. Big James Madison. Oh, it's big.
2nd and 8. Sims, Amari's top. Outside the 30, about the 32, a gain of 5. It'll bring up a 3rd down, and again Charles Haley and Ronnie Lott make the stop.
Of course, Charles Haley's from Big James Madison, and the other guy from Big James Madison is Gary Clark, the Washington Redskins, a wide receiver. That's 2 pretty good NFL players.
I would say.
Gary Clark is a Pro Bowl type player, and Haley is going to be one. They say he's a lot like Fred Dean, you know, that not going to be the big, strong defensive lineman, but has good leverage and great speed and quickness.
Same kind of function. Here's Sims to Morris. Then Morris has a 1st down. You know, we said this before about him, John, but a lot of backs have to sort of glide before they make the cut. He can make that cut at top speed.
You know, and the thing about that is having strong lower legs. Strong calves and strong ankles can make you make that cut at full speed. And that's what he does. He doesn't have to get turned.
He reads things so well. And gets it turned upfield and turns it up for a 1st down. something, Ronnie Lott discussing something with the officials.